everyone! So today I have my first project using the Wild Whisper Child at Heart collection, showing you some of the things we're going to be playing with today. We're going to be doing a lot of stamping, we're going to make some shaker elements on our pages, and we're going to be scrapbooking these two photos of my son in his very favorite car, an orange Hemi Cuda. So I'm just showing you the pattern papers I've chosen. We're going to use that light, bright, white background with the little black X's as our background paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull the branding strip off of that, and then I'm going to get started on matting my photos. So this white paper, you only get one of these, so I decided I was totally using it as a background. And I'm going to mat my two photos together, just side by side, ready to go. And then I'm going to mat them both together using that darker crosshatch paper. And then I want to use some of this beautiful pattern paper as a band across the middle of my page. I'm just trimming up my block of photos now so that they have nice even edges all the way around. And so I'm just cutting a nice wide band of that. I went with a band that was about 7 inches wide. So we have a nice wide band to get a nice mat around our photo, but also give us that little area at the end to go ahead and use for some embellishing. So I'm just going to lay down all my little paper pieces that I want to use on this layout. I know I want to use that little journaling card and this journaling spot. I wanted to give your eye a break on that edge because that pattern is quite busy. I'm going to take this 3x4 card and I'm going to trim it down quite a bit. I like the idea of just using that little playtime, and then that's going to act as my title too. Just made it very easy for me to not have to come up with anything super brilliant for a title. I want to use this star flare because I know I'm going to be using a lot of star elements on my page, so that star flare provided a break from paper. Now I'm going to use this rainbow, but I'm going to use it in a very different way. I'm going to tuck it under there, and then I'm going to fill in the circle. Until I get finished with this, I don't even think you can tell it's a rainbow. I'm going to be using some Queen & Company pop-up shaker elements. I always get asked questions about this. So these pop-up shaker elements, you can find them at a lot of different places. The Queen & Company's website, they have them. You can often find them at a cherry on top. Different elements, different types. Just search Queen & Company shakers or Queen & Company pop-ups at your favorite store to shop at, and if they have them, they should pop up. I do think that right now probably the easiest place to get them would be the Queen & Company website, because they're quite popular. Some of them are discontinued. These stars might be one of the ones that are discontinued. So some of them come with dies and different things. Another place I tend to get them is at a physical store in Ohio. I go to visit there and have a retreat once a year, and so I often can grab them in her shop as well. So I'm using my Altenew inks. I'm using Autumn, Blaze, and Marigold. And I'm going to go ahead and, sorry about that, I'm a dachshund mom. It happens. What I'm going to do is I'm taking this paper. This is just an 8.5 sheet of white cardstock. Nothing special, nothing super heavy, nothing super expensive, just white 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And I'm just going to stamp some of the images. A lot of these images were quite small, so I felt like I could get really nice impressions with just an acrylic block, and I didn't need to pull out my ginormous Misty. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp in a multitude of colors. I'm going to grab some Forest Glade Green and also some black. So I'm taking this tiny little heart stamp and I'm using it to stamp stars all inside what will become the bottom of my shakers. I'm setting that off to the side because that shaker material or the back for the shaker kind of has a rather slick surface and it will stamp just fine, but you have to set it aside to let it dry a bit. So I decided to get those stamped out and then I'll come back in. So I'm going to end up fussy cutting all of these little elements or punching them out with a circle punch. I've also pulled out one of my very favorite circle punches. This is a punch called Halftone, or a stamp set called Halftone Circles, and it's from Altenew. It's a really, really great versatile stamp set. I love it. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp out the stars. I'm going to stamp out some more of those halftone circles in all of my different colors to create some little embellishments. So normally I would fussy cut everything out all at once, but for these stars and arrows, I thought that it might be a better option to leave them on those larger pieces of white cardstock. Just cut out what I need for this layout, and then I have some stamped images that I have ready to go, and I can pop them in the bag with the rest of the Child at Heart collection. And as I continue to work through this collection and work through my design team projects for this quarter, I had some of these images already stamped and ready to go. So I'm filling up the shaker pockets now. What I'm doing is, this is the exclusive mix. These sequin mixes are mixed by Spiegel Mom Scraps, and then you can find them on the Wild Whisper website. And inside this particular sequin mix that coordinates with the Child at Heart, there are these large silver stars. Now these are a little too big for me to add to my shaker elements, but they're perfect to kind of glue on at the end to add that perfect finishing touch. And I just said perfect like 100 times. Sorry. Okay, I think right now I'm searching for the acetate for the top of that circle, for the top of that one star, and it's actually sitting right there beside me, but because it's clear acetate, I didn't see it. So next shaker pocket, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to that first one and get the acetate on the top. No matter how I do this, they always need just a touch of trimming, and I've come to the conclusion that Queen & Company just makes them larger than they need to be. Probably to, keep yourself from spilling sequins everywhere. I'm sure that that's the idea behind it, but they always come just a tad bigger than I really want them to be. So I'm just going to go ahead, kind of get the edges smoothed up and my second shaker filled. So now what I'm going to do is I want to add more sequins. So I have those large silver sequin stars. I want to go ahead and use my crystal katana, and I'm going to place the silver sequin stars. I'm going to place some of these stamped stars and create just little fun clusters around my three main areas of embellishment on this layout. I'm also taking those stamped arrows and the stamped stars, and I am fussy cutting as I go. So I'm fussy cutting bits, putting them down, fussy cutting another bit, putting it down, and what that does is it allows me to keep primarily most of those stamped images on the cardstock instead of having real little fussy cut shapes that I have to try to keep track of. So that's a good tip if you're going to stamp maybe more than what you think you'll use, but you want to save the extra pieces. Okay, I'm just going to keep going here. I'm going to work through these clusters, add sequins, and get them just the way I'd like them. So I have that circle that's up at the top that's kind of hanging off there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the circle off, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a little adhesive to the back and put it over on the edge, and that kind of is going to finish off the cluster, and it's going to finish off the movement and the design of my page. Now I'm going to grab my Muji pen, and I'm going to write my journaling, which isn't much. It's just we were at a local festival this spring, and there was a car show, and Logan saw his very favorite car in his very favorite color, and he just happened to be also wearing an orange shirt. So he was super happy and excited, and the owner of the car let him go ahead and hop in it and check it out. So I'm just going to add my date stamp to this one, and this is going to complete this layout. Oh, all my boy moms out there, you know who you are. This collection will work so fabulously for your little boys' layouts. And remember, you can always use my promo code, which is down in the description box, to save a little bit on your order. So you can get some of these beautiful scrapbooking supplies for yourself. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.